What's up, guys? In this video, I am going to be going over this lovely plethora of supplements that I have right here that I take every single day. So somebody asked me to do a video on the supplements that I take on a daily basis, and I've gathered them all into this lovely area. And now I'm going to make a video about them. So I'm going to talk briefly about all of these supplements that I'm taking. And in fact, I'm going to take one right now so that I can be a little bit more verbally fluent during this video. And since I'm taking this one now, I might as well talk about it. It is Piracetam. I usually don't take this. In fact, I've had this bottle for, I don't know, since before coming to Las Vegas, so at least 6 months. But I like Piracetam. This is like an old school nootropic. I take this when I need to be a little bit more precise with whatever it is that I'm saying or with whatever I'm writing. So it's very good for making videos, creating any kind of content, really. Piracetam technically increases blood flow to the corpus callosum, which is the thin membrane that you have in between the two hemispheres of your brain that actually connects them. So what I remember reading about this back when I did my research on it is that it helps the two hemispheres of your brain to communicate with one another. Practically speaking, like I said, it makes me a little bit more verbally fluent and easy, like it makes it easier, makes easy information good. Like I clearly need to take one right now before I even tell you. Just makes it easier to process information and use that information in words that I speak or write. Should have taken one before starting this video. Moving on, we're going to go to this. This is Wellbutrin, aka Bupropion. This is a prescription only drug. So if you want to take this, you need to get a prescription. You can order it online. I won't tell you where, use Google, but it is way cheaper if you get it from an actual doctor. I use one of these online pharmacies. I forget which one it's called, but I pay 15 bucks a month. And anytime I need to talk to a doctor, I think I pay like, I don't know, 50 bucks or 100 bucks or something like that. To date, I've only used these once. I've only used them to get a prescription one time. Definitely worth it in my opinion. I take 300 milligrams of Bupropion per day. Also helps with verbal fluency. Helps with giving me motivation, or I guess enabling me to do the stuff that I don't necessarily want to do, but I know that I should do. So this is amazing for people who have depression, right? If you're depressed and you're like lying around all day and you're like, oh, I don't see the point of doing anything, definitely start taking some of this. Like, talk to your doctor today about fucking Wellbutrin, because this shit is the bomb. I'm a huge fan, and for me it is a non-negotiable. And every time I run out, because occasionally I'll run out without, re-upping the prescription, I feel like shit and I hate my life until I get it. So highly recommend that you guys get some of this. It helps to give a little bit of energy. It's a dopamine reuptake inhibitor, meaning that, or as far as I understand, it means that the dopamine that you have in your brain, you're able to use it over and over or something without it getting absorbed. I'm not really clear on exactly how that works, but improves my mood, improves my verbal fluency as well, like I said, and makes it easier for me to do the things that I know I need to do but don't actually do. Moving on, we've got creatine right here. I'm running a little bit low. This is micronized creatine capsules. I take 2 of these per day. This is 2.5 grams of creatine per day, which is a fairly low dose of creatine. The normal dose people say to take is 5 grams per day. I could take 5 grams. That would be totally fine. In fact, if I upped it to 5 grams, I'd probably feel better. I am a huge fan of creatine. This is a daily supplement for me, regardless of whether or not I'm working out. This is great for giving you more energy in the gym, making you a little bit smarter, and just giving you like a lot of long-lasting clean energy all day without really being a stimulant. So I'm a fan of creatine. There's, I think at this point, like over 700 studies on creatine and what it does. It increases work capacity, increases power output. It increases testosterone slightly, I think, if you're deficient in creatine. Does it increase testosterone or increases conversion of testosterone to DHT? I'm not really sure. I think it increases DHT. I don't know, one of the two. Basically, it will give you a boost in your male hormones if you are deficient. Don't quote me on that. I mean, I know it does. I know it increases one of them. I'm just not sure which one it is. But I'm a huge fan of creatine, and it's so cheap. It's like, this is one of these supplements that it doesn't really make sense to not take on a daily basis, especially if you are a man, and especially if you are a vegan, right, or a vegetarian or something. Creatine is an amino acid that is found in red meat, and you know, in order to get the amount of creatine that I take in these little pills, you would have to eat, I don't know, a lot of red meat in order to get the equivalent. Now, I eat a lot of red meat anyway, but I also like to take a little bit of creatine to just kind of give me that extra boost. Next one is DHEA. All right, so DHEA is a parent hormone, dehydroepiandrosterone, something like that. DHEA is one of these parent hormones that your body can turn into other hormones, and also uses DHEA itself for something in your body. This is such an effective supplement. You know, I'm too cold to be doing air quotes, but just imagine me doing air quotes. This is such an effective supplement that it is not sold in most European countries, and it is on the WADA banned substance list, presumably because it will help you increase testosterone, and you know, anything that'll help you. They're so paranoid about steroids that you know, anything that might increase testosterone a little bit is like, oh my God, you're not allowed to take it. I'm a fan. I noticed a few days where I didn't take it, I had run out. I noticed that I was really tired and dragging my feet, and I couldn't understand why. But it was because I believe I ran out of DHEA. Also, at 200 milligrams, which is twice the dose that I take, it has actually been shown to increase testosterone. So for those of you guys who are out there who are still a little too afraid to get on TRT, highly recommend that you give that a shot. Did I talk about the testosterone? I'm not sure if I did it, or if this was or if that was the last video that I did. I'm just going to talk about it briefly because I don't actually remember if I talked about it in this video, because this is my second take. Anyway, I take 15 milligrams of testosterone enanthate per day. This is something that you do have to inject. However, I have noticed that it's much easier for me to build muscle while on TRT, despite, I don't want to say not working out as hard, but because now I'm working out pretty hard. But back when I was working my day job at the mall, I was very stressed out and didn't always have time to get a really good workout, yet it was very easy, or much easier for me to exercise. The reason I inject every day is because if you do it once a week, it's more likely that you'll have side effects like high estrogen levels, or you know, bloating or hair loss, or something like that. And I have not taken my anti-estrogen in, you know, occasionally I'll take some, but I don't feel like I need it anymore. Whereas in the beginning, when I was doing it every once a week, I felt much more emotionally unstable, let's put it. So huge fan of this right now. Okay, so next one, we have Tribulus right here. So Tribulus is an herb, Tribulus terrestris. It is marketed commonly as a test booster, even though it kind of falls into the category of one of these things where it doesn't actually boost tests unless you are hypogonadal. But it's pretty safe to assume that most men, most modern day men, especially ones who are over 35, maybe your diet's not that clean, or even if you really kind of do everything right, like your test is going to go down as you get older. So the reason that I take this, and I've been taking this for almost, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 months now, I've noticed that it gives me a little bit of an edge, right? If I am, you know, I used to be a very like chill, relaxed person. I'll tell you how I really noticed it, right? Is when I would, you know, respond to comments on my YouTube channel. If I, you know, before I started taking this, if I ever got any comments that were inflammatory, let's say, or critical of me in like a mean way, you know how YouTube comments get, right? People are not always very tactful. Back in the day, I would just kind of joke these people down and like make a joke about whatever they said, and it wouldn't really bother me. But now when I read comments that are not nice, let's call it, I find myself getting really, really irritated and like being snarky back to the commenters. So that's something that I noticed happen once I started taking the Tribulus. That said, I like it. I kind of like the little bit of edge that it gives me, but I do feel that I like being chill also, you know what I mean? I like not letting things get to me, and I feel like it's kind of shortened my fuse a little bit. So take that for what it's worth. It does give me a nice little boost in energy though. All right, let's move on to, let's talk about this one. This is Arimistane. This is the AI that I take when I want to take an AI. This is a suicidal aromatase inhibitor, meaning that it binds to the aromatase enzyme. Is it bind to the aromatase? I think it binds to the aromatase enzyme, or the aromatase enzyme. And aromatase is an enzyme that converts testosterone to estradiol. So basically when you take this, your body is not capable of converting testosterone into estrogen, which is called and that in turn causes your body to produce more testosterone, because your body's like, oh shit, we're not able to convert this testosterone to estrogen. We better make more testosterone so that will be converted to estrogen. I don't know, your body's kind of stupid. But anyway, it's called a negative feedback loop. Now, I don't really take this, to be honest with you. I've had this bottle almost a year, still haven't finished it. Used to take it every 3 days back when I was injecting only once a week. And back then I would notice that if I missed my every 3-day dose, I was like really, I don't want to say emotional. I was really easily irritated with stuff that shouldn't irritate me. And it was kind of crazy, like within 15 minutes of me taking this, I would just kind of become way more calm and things would not be as, worthy of me getting angry about. So highly recommend that. The good thing about Arimistane is that you can buy it online, you can buy it over the counter. It's not like, what are the other ones that people use? I forget what the other ones are called, but I think they're prescription drugs and you need to order them. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. This is kind of the only one that I've ever used, just because it's so easy to order and it's very effective in my opinion. So I can't really comment on the others. Now, this right here, this is Tongkat Ali, otherwise known as Long Jack. This is something that I ordered from Nootropics Depot. This is supposed to be like a special type of Long Jack that is like more standardized for some extract, and it's supposed to be like really amazing. I thought I would try this because I do like Long Jack, and I have found that it does make me, it does definitely boost your libido, and it just kind of gives you like a little bit more of that edge, kind of like the Tribulus does. However, in this case, I think I don't even want to tell you how much I paid for it. I think this bottle was like fucking $40 or something for this tiny ass bottle of like 60 pills. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll try it, because I had a store credit. I was like, all right, might as well. Not worth it, in my opinion. Sorry, Nootropics Depot, you guys are amazing, but I would not order this again. It's definitely not worth it, in my opinion. So that's my opinion on that. I still take it every day because I have it, so I might as well finish the bottle, but not really a fan. All right, so now that we've gotten through, actually last one, just kidding. This is Pneumopept right here. Pneumopept is very similar to paracetam in that it increases blood flow to your brain, makes you smarter, improves your verbal fluency, and I like it for when I have to concentrate on things that are tough to concentrate on. I take one of these every day in the morning. The half-life is, I want to say, like 45 minutes, and the effects last for about 3 hours. So if you are, with a lot of these supplements that kind of boost your ability to concentrate and be smart for several hours, like you don't need to take them consistently throughout the day. What I've found is that you only really need to take them when you need to be smart, right? So like if you're gonna do some public speaking, or if you're gonna make a video, or if you're gonna write something, you need to be smart, like take one of these before and you'll be golden. Okay, last one I guess right here. Well, let's move to the powders. Okay, so right here we have Fenuboot, or Fenuboot, as apparently it is called. Fenuboot is a, what is this again? I don't know what it is. It's a drug. It's like a GABA agonist, I want to say. So basically there's this, and I might be messing this up, but there's this chemical called GABA, G-A-B-A, which is gamma aminobutyric acid or some shit. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, it's kind of this chemical that makes you like feel good in your brain. You actually get in a better mood and feel a little bit better when you take it. So I used to advocate taking 1 gram a day of Fenuboot. That was like my daily dose. However, I will admit now that when I took 1 gram a day, it was like a little bit higher than it needed to be, right? Like the thing with Fenuboot, I'm gonna call it Fenuboot. The thing with Fenuboot is that you feel really, really good, right? You're like in a great mood and your jokes land better and you're just like a lot more socially fluid, in my opinion. That's been my experience. But once you pass a certain dose, you start to get like, I don't want to say sloppy, but you just get a little bit too high, if you know what I mean, right? Like my short-term memory was getting kind of bad. I was having trouble concentrating on things. I have pretty good concentration skills, and I take a lot of stuff to help me concentrate. But even with that, taking a gram a day made me a little, I don't want to say loopy, because loopy implies that like I was like really fucked up, but I was too fucked up. I wasn't really fucked up. It was just like, it was a little bit harder for me to concentrate than I would have liked to be. So interestingly enough, after running out of Fenuboot and not taking it for about 2 weeks, I bought some more, and I am now taking only 500 milligrams a day. And that seems to have given me like a lot of the benefits of Fenuboot, like the increased verbal fluency and the better mood and the jokes landing a little bit better, without the downsides of just being like basically high all the time. Okay, next one we have here is Agmatine sulfate, which is a metabolite of L-arginine. I always called it arginine, but apparently it's called arginine. I'm not really sure. Anyway, Agmatine is really good for a couple things. It used to be marketed back in the day as a vasodilator, right? So like the whole thing about Agmatine is you would take it and then you go work out and you get pumps that would last all day. That was like their whole thing. Like, oh, the pumps are amazing. They last for 8 hours. It's recently been shown, recently as in like the past couple of years, it's recently been shown that Agmatine helps with neuropathic pain. Basically, if you're experiencing pain and you take Agmatine, you will have less severity, like the severity of the pain will be less, or something like that. So a lot of people take it for pain. Interestingly enough, a lot of people will also take it for Fenuboot withdrawal. So some people have actually commented on some of my other videos about Fenuboot that it's possible that one of the reasons why I personally don't experience withdrawal symptoms when I taper off Fenuboot is because I'm taking Agmatine with it as well. I take a gram of Agmatine every day in the morning. The doses that I've seen have been up to 2.5 grams on the internet. And honestly, like it's a metabolite of an amino acid. You could probably take a lot more and get away with it. And now that it's been around for a couple of years, it's really cheap, and it's one of these, it's kind of like creatine. Like there's no reason to not take 2 grams a day. You know, like I'm talking about it now, I think I might up it to 2 grams a day. Or maybe a gram in the morning and then another gram before I actually work out, because from what I understand, the half-life is pretty short. Okay, so that's Agmatine. Highly recommend you guys pick that up. Let's talk now about, this is Palmella, all right? This is pomegranate extract. This is another thing that I picked up from Nootropics Depot just to kind of test them out, to test out the supplement. I mean, not a huge fan of this, although I will say that before I ordered this, I was having really bad pain in my wrist, right? Like I've broken this bone in my hand, and I've broken this, like one of the bones in my wrist on the same hand. Or wait, was it? No, I broke this bone in this hand. Anyway, my wrists are fucked up, basically is the point. And occasionally what will happen is when I go to sleep, I'll curl up and I'll notice that my hand will kind of be twisted like this. And when I wake up in the morning, my wrist will hurt really bad. And so what will happen as a result is that I'll have really bad pain and terrible mobility in my wrist for, you know, I don't know, up to a few weeks afterwards. And before I started taking the Palmella, that was actually the case. And I was trying all kinds of stuff. I was doing, you know, wrist stretches, I was doing joint mobility. And within a few days of taking this, my wrist pain had gone away. So I'm not sure if it's good for inflammation or something like that, but I remember when I was reading about it, because it was on sale. So when I was reading about it, I don't think I remember anything about inflammation, but pomegranate, they say, is good for, it like boosts your testosterone, right? So I don't remember off the top of my head if that's why I decided to get it, or if I just wanted to get it because it was cheap and on sale. I was like, fuck it, I might as well try it. Not sure if I will buy more when it's gone, because I don't remember how much it was, and it kind of tastes pretty bad, and my wrist doesn't hurt anymore, so we'll see. Next one right here, this is purified Shilajit. This is otherwise known as mineral pitch. This is something that I think it only grows in the Himalayas. It's some, I don't know what it is. It's one of these things that like grows in the middle of nowhere. But what it is like very, as far as I understand, I always thought it was a mushroom. Apparently it's not a mushroom. Apparently it's this like super highly concentrated mineral mud or some shit. I'm not really sure honestly what it is. I thought it was a mushroom. It's not. But they call it in, I don't know, whatever language they speak over there, they call it conqueror of mountains. Because when you take it, you just have like, you have so much energy and that shit lasts like all day. I remember the first couple times I took it, I was working at the mall and I would take it in the morning and I would go in the morning for a workout and then I would go work at the mall all day and then I would still have so much energy when I came home that I would go and I would work out again. So this is another non-negotiable for me. It's definitely part of my regular routine, and I plan on buying it when I run out. So next one we have right here, this is Shodan. Okay, this is another form of like branded ashwagandha. Honestly, don't really see the big deal about this. Now this is one of the things, like I am taking a lot of other stuff, so it's possible I just don't notice it. But I've taken this like super expensive form of ashwagandha that is supposed to be like so much more amazing. And I've taken the regular like $6 ashwagandha that I bought at, you know, Albertsons. And when I take that one, I notice a lot more as opposed to when I take this. When I take this, I don't notice shit. So like, I don't really understand what the big deal is about this, to be honest with you. Ashwagandha in general does have a lot of very good effects. It's like this like king of the fucking Ayurvedic herbs in terms of how much it actually does. So I recommend you guys start taking it if you're not taking it now, as it does do a lot of good stuff. But this particular like branded form of it, I just don't, I won't buy it again once I run out. I just got this, so, you know. What is this one? Okay, this is Adrafinil. Adrafinil is a precursor to modafinil, right? Modafinil is a wakefulness promoting agent, meaning that when you take it, you won't go to sleep. Now, if you're really tired when you take this, you might pass out. Like the other day, I just flew back from, where was I? Nashville this weekend. And I just flew back from Nashville and I was flying on planes all day, and I had worked the entire weekend before and I was pushing myself really hard on the weekend, working out and all this stuff. And then I went to see a chiropractor. So it was like all this stuff adding up. And even though I took Adrafinil in the morning and like all this other stuff, even though, you know, I took that, I ended up taking like a 3-hour nap, which is very uncommon when you take Adrafinil. So I like it because it gives me, it's like forms a very good base of stamina for the day when you are, you know, doing whatever it is that you have to do. If you're a very active person, if you've got a physical job, it's kind of a non-negotiable. At least it is for me. Next one we have here, this is MK677, otherwise known as Ibutamorin. Comes in this handy dandy little plastic thing. I put it in here just to keep it somewhere where, you know, I can travel with it. Not so good traveling with a silver bag of white powder. Much easier to travel with a little jar of white powder. So, MK677 is a ghrelin agonist, I want to say. Ghrelin releasing agent, I don't know. Basically makes you hungry. And when you're hungry, ghrelin is the hunger hormone. And when your body releases ghrelin, it'll release growth hormone releasing hormone. And when your body releases growth hormone releasing hormone, it'll release growth hormone. And when your body releases growth hormone, it'll release IGF-1. So all of those things do a lot of good stuff for your body. But practically speaking, what is it really going to do? It's going to help you recover faster. It's going to help you heal from injuries faster. And it's going to make you really freaking hungry and also kind of fatigued and lethargic. So there is that trade-off there. However, in my experience, and I do notice the fatigue despite the fact I'm taking all this other stuff. But it's worth it in my opinion, because it just makes me so much hungrier. And if I'm going through a period where I want to like add a little bit more muscle, then I end up eating like 50% more, to the point where it's very hard for me to do OMAD, because like I'll take it in the morning and then I'll go work out and I'm just like so hungry immediately after working out that I'm like, all right, you know, I guess I just won't do OMAD today. And I end up eating multiple times per day. So keep that in mind if you are, you know, trying to stick to OMAD or you're fasting. Oh, my arm really hurts. Okay, so that is enough for the daytime supplements, although I do take this also during the daytime. This is the only supplement that I take during the day and night, which is Saw Palmetto. Saw Palmetto is basically like a natural version of finasteride. Finasteride is a drug that prevents your body, what does it do? It's a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor, meaning that, okay, so like you have testosterone in your body, which reduces into dihydrotestosterone, right? Which is like I don't want to say it's a more powerful version of testosterone. It's a different hormone that has, how would I even say it? Like more, I don't know, I'm going to say this wrong. More androgenic effects than testosterone. Basically, like, I don't know, reduces into another hormone that has some unfavorable side effects, like enlarged prostate and hair loss. So what is the actual effect of this, right? If I don't take this, let's talk about what happens if I don't take this. If I don't take this, I will have to like use the bathroom a lot more, right? It like, because what happens is when your prostate swells as a result of like imbalanced androgens, I want to say, or too much DHT is the best way to put it. When your prostate gets bigger, it pushes on your bladder, right? And when it pushes on your bladder, it makes you feel like you have to pee a lot more often. But you actually don't have to pee more often. You actually have less urine in your bladder. But because your prostate is pushing on it, it makes you feel like you have to pee, even though like not as much pee comes out when you finally do go. So it's very annoying, it's very inconvenient, and it just doesn't, it feels like something's wrong with you. You know, when you have to fucking pee all the time and nothing comes out, like that's not a good sign. So what people will do is they'll take finasteride, right? And that is supposed to, like finasteride, as far as I understand, was originally prescribed for BPA, which is benign prostatic hyperplasia, which basically means like your fucking prostate's getting bigger, but it's benign. It's not like you have cancer in your prostate, although that's another thing, right? It's like your prostate's just fucking bigger. So finasteride will make your prostate smaller, as far as I understand, because it will inhibit the 5-alpha reductase enzyme, meaning that the testosterone that you have in your body is not going to reduce into DHT. It's possible that it might reduce into estrogen, right, through aromatase, but assuming that you have low body fat percentage and you are taking an AI occasionally if you need to, that shouldn't be much of a problem. Okay, so I take this, I take 2 in the morning and I take 2 at night, and occasionally if I am somewhere that I need to, like if I'm at work, for example, I'll take a few of these with me to work so that if I feel like it's starting to wear off, and you know, because I drink a lot of water and drink a lot of coffee at work, and it's really annoying to have to go pee fucking all the time, you know, when I'm at work, to go to the bathroom every fucking hour. So I'll take a couple of these with me and I'll take these throughout the day. The one downside to this compared to finasteride, or its like stronger older brother dutasteride, is that the half-life, I'm not sure if the half-life on this is shorter or if it just doesn't last as long or what the fucking deal is, but it needs to be taken more often. For me, that's okay, because the trade-off of taking something natural, even if I have to take it more often, is better than taking another drug, even though those drugs have been around for a long time and they're probably totally safe and everything's okay with them. I just have been taking this for a while to like reduce the burden on my system. Okay, so I will also take these at night. The Saw Palmetto, like, okay, any guys out there, right? Like you get to a certain age, you have to pee more in the middle of the night. It's fucking annoying, right? Before I started taking this, when I was doing the TRT, I would have to get up sometimes twice in the middle of the night to go pee. And I was like I felt like something was wrong with me. I'm like, this can't be good. This is not a good side effect that I want to entertain anymore. So originally I was taking 4 of these at night, reduced it back to 2, might increase it again. The serving size is 450 milligrams, right? So I was taking almost 2 grams of this a night and taking it in the morning. I might increase it at night because I do notice that now that I'm going to bed, occasionally I'll have to wake up like a few hours before I actually wake up to go pee. So I might increase this a little bit more because I don't like that effect that it's having. or I don't like having to go and do that and change my lifestyle that way. All right, next one is cinnamon. Cinnamon is a blood glucose regulator, right? So basically, I might be getting this wrong, but as far as I understand, cinnamon will help you manage your insulin response, right? It'll like manage insulin sensitivity. So basically, when your body really there's a continuum, right? And on the continuum, the more frequent and the more intense your insulin spikes are, the more insulin you have on your body on a chronic basis, the less healthy you are, and the sooner you're going to die. So the good thing about taking cinnamon is that it will help mitigate or help reduce those insulin spikes after you eat, a big meal at the end of the night, for example, right? On good days where I'm able to stick to doing OMAD, what happens is I'll eat my, meat and eggs or whatever the base of my meal is, and then afterwards I'll eat carbs. So because I've split them up like that, I'm not eating the carbs along with the meal. It causes a more dramatic insulin spike, right? And add to that, the carbs lately, what I've been having, bread and honey, and then maybe I'll have a little bit of chocolate afterwards. So that's fairly sweet for me, right? It's not cookies or candy or fucking ice cream or something, but for me and what my body's used to, that, compared to not eating all day and then eating meat, like you have any carbs, your insulin's gonna spike much higher. So I take 2 of those a night when I take my nighttime supplements, although I probably should take them with food now that I think about it. But I take them at night before I go to bed when I take the rest of my stuff. Next one we've got right here, this is zinc, 50 milligrams. The reason I take this at night and not in the morning is because in my experience, when I take zinc on an empty stomach, I feel nauseous. I don't like to feel nauseous during the day, especially because I don't actually eat anything during the day. So I don't want to take this on an empty stomach. And this is a fairly high dose of zinc. This is 50 milligrams of zinc. And in the past, when I've taken, doses as low as 10 or 15 milligrams, I feel that kind of nauseous feeling. So I just take this at night after I've eaten my main meal and just hope that, it doesn't have to compete for absorption too much with all the other stuff that I'm eating. But zinc is really good to take, especially if you're a guy. Next one is magnesium. Magnesium is a natural muscle relaxer. So I originally started taking this back when, oh my God. Originally started taking magnesium back when I was working in New Zealand, and I was drinking a lot of energy drinks every day, and I would grind my teeth when I went to sleep. And well, at least that's what my girlfriend at the time would tell me. She's like, "You're grinding your teeth really bad." Like she would wake me up because it was so bad. She's like I had to wake you up because I was worried about you, kind of thing. So I bought some magnesium, started taking it, and it's a natural muscle relaxer. So it did help a little bit, but I was drinking so much caffeine that it's didn't take care of it completely, but it did do enough to mitigate it somewhat. I take it now as a sleep aid. Not that I really have trouble sleeping. I'm usually asleep pretty quickly, and I have, it's not that hard for me to sleep through the night. But I have noticed, it helps with sleep. I don't know how else to say it, right? Magnesium does a lot of other stuff in your body as well. It's a mineral that is used for a lot of different processes. But I take it anyway. It's cheap. Like, what the fuck? Who cares? If it helps with sleep, it's fucking $6 every 2 months. That's fine with me. The last one I take right here is melatonin. These are 5 milligram tablets. I take between 2 and 4 per night. The melatonin is a hormone that is naturally produced in your body when the sun goes down, right? You have melatonin and you have, I forget what the other one is, but it's the opposite of melatonin. Like, the sun goes up, your body releases whatever hormone it is to wake you up, and then you go to sleep and your body releases melatonin to let you know that it's time to go to sleep. So this, combined with magnesium, combined with my blue light blocker that I have on my laptop, right? All of those things make me drowsy enough so that literally I fall asleep within 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a long time for me to actually need to fall asleep. Like, sometimes I fall asleep so quickly that it's annoying because I'm watching something that I think is interesting on my laptop, and I'm like, okay, like, let's see if I can stay up for 20 minutes this time. Okay, and then the last one right here, this is good and cheap carbon 60 olive oil, right? This is C60 fullerene mixed with olive oil. So for those of you who don't know, there's this like famous rat study where they mixed this type of carbon called C60, which means there's 60 hydrogen bonds. I'm not really like, I don't know if it's hydrogen or fucking carbon or whatever, but anyway, it's like 60 different or 60 carbon atoms. I'm not really sure, but basically the molecule is shaped like a soccer ball, right? It's a special type of carbon that they mixed with olive oil originally to see how toxic it was. So they found out in the study that it actually wasn't toxic and that it actually extended the lifespan of the rats that they tested it on by, whatever, twice as long, I think it was, increased their lifespan by 100%. Rats normally live between 18 months and 3 years, like 3 years old is like an ancient rat. And these rats lived almost 6 years, and they didn't even die of old age. They died because they wanted to end the study, so they killed the rats. They're like, okay, like we want to end the study and write our little paper, let's kill these rats. So sadly, that's what they did. C60 is a very, there's not a lot of, actually now I think there are more human studies on C60, but they're not, there's not enough that it's like proven to be this magical thing yet. But there are a lot of anecdotal reports of people taking C60 and like all these amazing things happening to them. Honestly, and I've had some very interesting experiences with C60 as well. It's just that lately I don't think, well, first of all, I'm not taking nearly as much as I used to. Second of all, the more substances you take, the harder it is to kind of determine what is doing what, unless you add them in one at a time. And I've had this bottle for over a month and I haven't been very consistent with taking it because I don't have that much and I don't want to run out of it right away, even though that's probably pretty stupid. Cool, so that is my explanation of all of the supplements, nootropics, and drugs that I'm taking right now. What do you guys think about that? Do you want to see me test anything particular? Any supplement, any drug, any PED that you want my opinion on? I would be happy to be a human guinea pig, assuming that the side effects are not bad or not too bad. Would not mind testing it for a little bit. If you guys have any questions about that, let me know. Leave me a comment. Peace.